evening, everybody. Hey, this is Terry with NSPS TV Paranormal Podcast. Hey, welcome to Sunday Evening Podcast. And guess what, guys? We're back in Massachusetts. I feel like that's my second home up there, man, because I'm constantly finding so many paranormal teams up in that area. But I found you guys, so hey, introduce yourself, brother.
All right, yeah. So I'm the founder. My name's David Butterworth. I'm the founder of the East Coast Coalition of Paranormal Investigators. We started back in 2017, right in Massachusetts up here. Now our team, we have members spread across New Hampshire, Massachusetts, Rhode Island. So we kind of cover a few states up here in the Northeast. We do a lot of residential cases. We don't do a lot of the well-known places. We have done SK Pierce in the past, out in Gardner, Mass. I've been to a lot of places out in the West Coast as well. Kind of flown out there, checked out all that. It's been it's a lot of fun. My journey with the paranormal started when I was 12, 14 years old, which I'm sure we can probably get into that a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm hopeful that some of our team members will be joining us tonight as well, especially one that we've started to kind of develop our own equipment as well, which I'd like to talk about. It's pretty cool. So, yeah, I think that's
Okay. Now you said you guys focus on residential.
yes.
Is there a big surge for you guys for residential cases up there, man?
It comes in waves. Right now, it's a little slower. Which the winter, the holidays, we'll take that at this time. Kind of
Mm-hmm.
gives us some time to recoup and kind of investigate new technologies, kind of see what's out there, and kind of prepare. But as soon as we get a call, we're right on it. So
You know what? You piqued my curiosity when you said when you guys are wanting to, have that expand with the new equipment thing. I'm one of those type of guys, man. If I see something I know I like, I'm gonna try to experiment with it, and just see how it goes. But like all paranormal investigators, nobody investigates the same. Nobody, it's all
yeah,
different. People experiment with different types of equipment. Hopefully, what I bring to the table, and you guys are like, as far as experimenting with new equipment and all that, because I think David, we got a lot of things in common here.
oh yeah, for sure.
We got a lot of things in common. Um, Man, I wish the guy was on right now. I would like to bombard him with 1,000,001 questions on what kind of equipment he has. But is it really slow for you guys during the wintertime when you guys are investigating, or does it get pretty active?
Yeah, it depends. We've had a couple really good cases in the winter. Um, we had one of our best cases where we captured. We had brand new DVR system. We don't use GoPros, anything like that. We use an actual wired DVR.
Mm-hmm.
We started with the old Night Owl, 780 or 720p, but then we upgraded to a Lorex 4K full color night vision system. Our first
Ooh.
case with that, and we caught a shadow, a clear shadow, and it's probably it's like our crown jewel of evidence that we've captured so
Mm.
far.
Okay. Is most of your residential cases? I mean, I'm pretty sure they are. I mean, they're you know only need to know. You're not going to be able to put most of the evidence out, and all that stuff. But I mean, is that always the case, or just sometimes?
So we share most of the evidence we capture in our forms. It does say, we have rights to to share the evidence that we capture, but we
Hmm.
won't give away any locations, any names, anything like that. Most of what we say is the state that it's in, and that's really it. We won't give a town, we won't give anything else, but we do share the evidence we capture.
Okay, you know what? That sounds great. I'm pretty curious on some of the evidence that you guys are got out there that you guys put on your social media. But speaking of social media, uh, with all the evidence that you guys produce, man, how many people come back at you guys and say, "Oh man, that's hogwash. That's never happened. That's hard to.
We've had the few. I mean, there's always going to be skeptics. I actually have a few skeptics. Oh, sorry, like I said, I was sick.
Mhm.
Okay, we have a few skeptics on the team. I like to bring on um, a lot of new faces, a lot of new people to the field because I like giving people chances. When I was first starting out in the field, no one would give me a chance on a team. Like, oh, you have no experience. Finally, a team took a chance on me. From there, I went to another team. That team, when it disbanded, that's when it took us kind of a hiatus and formed this one.
Mhm.
Um, and I always take that chance to bring people on. So we do get a lot of skeptics that say, "Oh, that's not real," but we've been there, we know what it is, and everyone has entitled to their opinion. And
Right, right,
if you can come up with that skepticism, it might actually prove one day to be, oh, okay, they come at it from a different angle that we didn't think of. Okay, well, now we can debunk it. So I'm always open to the criticism of it because it can help us further our knowledge and investigative tactics going forward.
right. Well, David. I think personally that what you're doing is good because I'd rather have somebody train me than me going by what Hollywood is saying on how they are doing it. The way Hollywood is doing it now can get you hurt. You know what
Yes.
I'm saying? So with you taking somebody under your wing, how long? So how long is the training? Training.
It depends. I mean, we have a kind of some training material. Usually, when we get new members onto the team, we give them access to our archives. They go through, we assign them a case that we've already reviewed, and we
Mhm.
have them start by going through the tedious portion of reviewing data. Even though we've already reviewed it, it's good to get a second set of eyes. That crown jewel of evidence I was talking about, we missed it on the first time through. We had a new
Mhm.
member go through, and he's like, "Oh, did you guys see this?" And we were like, "Wow, how did we miss that?" Um, so we have a lot of opportunity that way, and we always love having people kind of go through. Then after that, it's kind of everyone learns at their own paces. Some people catch on quickly, others might not take as quick. So
Right.
it's kind of a trial and error basis with the team.
All right. Now, how big is your team?
Um, at the peak, we had about 15 members. I think we're down to about 10 right now. We had some people move and leave the team, so we are actually taking on new members up here as well. Um, so we want to try to get to 15 to 20, I think, is where I want to be comfortably because we
Mhm.
do service, New Hampshire. We've done Connecticut cases. We've done Rhode Island. We even considered going up to upstate New York, which is a stretch for us, but if a case is
Ooh,
dire enough, we'll do it.
I understand that, man. With so many people, so many different personalities, so many different attitudes. How do you manage that all that at one time?
It's it's a little tough. I mean, I have the structure we have in place. Yes, I'm kind of the face of the team in a way, but I don't like to portray it that way.
Hmm.
I lead with two others, management members, I call them, who are trusted. They were voted by the team at one point to become part of management, and us three kind of make the decisions, but we take a lot of feedback from the team members as well.
So the question that I have for you, bro, how do you react to a team member that's coming about a little bit negative? You know, think that this should go a little bit that way. You always have that one bad apple, always in a team.
Yep. Um, we've had that mainly early on when we started the team. We had some um, bad apples, as you call them. I wouldn't go as far to say they're bad apple, just their ambitions didn't align with what I expected of the team, what most of us expected to go forward.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and we almost fell apart in the first year because of it. Eventually, I kind of had I don't want to say a mutiny, but that's kind of what it was, and
Yeah.
kind of forced control of the team. And since then, we've skyrocketed, and everyone's been on the same page. We haven't really had much drama within the team.
Well, that's good, man, because drama will rip a team apart.
Yes.
And not doing all that, and having some kind of control is a plus.
Yep.
It's definitely a plus. Okay, so tell me a little bit about some of your cases up there, because down here in Texas, woo, brother, it's a little bit different from what you guys got going up there in the Northeast.
Yep. I mean, we got the Salem up here, so I know that's a big draw from across the country. I haven't had the luxury of investigating anywhere in Salem yet. Um, I actually just got to Salem for the first time a couple years ago, which is shocking considering I've lived up here for 30 years.
Mm,
Um, so, but we've had a lot of interesting cases. We've done locations where there's been double murders, murder suicides. Um, there we've had cases where a lot of shadows, and we've done some pretty active locations. We've we have some partnerships with some state organizations that I won't name, but they
mhm.
kind of call us in and help out as well once in a while. So just we have a wide range of different types of cases we take on up
Okay,
here.
now have you guys? Because I know the Northeast is much older than any part of the country.
Yes,
You have, man, dating back probably before the 1700s.
probably even further than that if you go back
Probably,
to the
yeah, probably,
1400s.
yeah.
In the area where we based out of in Taunton, Massachusetts, you had King Philip's War, Native Americans, and a lot of bloodshed on that. So we have a lot of Native American history up here, a lot of pilgrims. This a wide range. Revolutionary War. There's just so much up here, and it's just kind of a hotbed for a lot of different activity, I think.
Man, you guys are so lucky. I
Not to
mean,
mention we have the Hockomock Swamp, which I'm sure everyone's heard about too, or
oh yeah,
our
definitely,
Bridgewater
definitely.
Triangle, and right the team is centered right in the middle of that, pretty much.
Wow. So you guys aren't just getting paranormal. Hell, you're probably getting UFO sightings or whatever that's in that triangle. Are you guys leaning towards that too? Do you have a team for that?
Not yet.
Okay.
It's been our plan to eventually kind of branch off into that.
Mhm.
We did have a member that was going to spearhead that, but unfortunately he had to leave the team. So we're kind of back at the drawing board for that, but it is eventually in our cards to go that route. But right now we're focused on helping people with the paranormal.
Now, how easy is it? Because I know, man, in Texas, dude, in certain parts of the state, it's really hard to, if you got something going on, it's really hard to explain something like that to certain people
Yep.
and them not thinking you're a nutcase.
Yep. I actually lived in Texas for about 7 months when I was 21. So I've seen both cultures. I was actually going to join a team down there as well. Um, but there's a lot of skepticism down there, a lot more than up here. That's for sure.
Mhm. What part of Texas? What did you live in?
I was in the Killeen area. I had a buddy that was in the military who had an apartment off base, and he let me stay with him for the 7 months I was down there.
Oh, okay. You're about 45 minutes away from I am.
Okay.
And Killeen, it's kind of a weird place.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really hard to find a paranormal team. I'm not. They might be there, but as far as reaching out to them, I've really had a hard time. Like you say, they come and they go.
Yeah.
You know, so are you like you said you're both mostly into residential, but dude, you can't tell me that you driving along, man, and you seen this creepy cemetery dated back to the 1400s. Yeah, you're not going to hit that spot.
I mean, I've done it before. Before the team. I was part of a team that we did cemeteries quite often. I forget the name of the cemetery up here, but it's where Lizzie Borden was buried or is buried.
Mm-hmm.
And I had some interesting activity up there where I was chasing pretty much an elemental around the graveyard. It was kind of fun. You
It's
are
kind of
sitting there
fun.
shining the flashlight. We see these two bluish, cloudy eyes look over a gravestone. We run up to it. Next thing you know, it disappears. Next thing, it's 20 feet behind another gravestone. And we ended up surrounding it on the bottom of a tree, and then it just disappeared.
Oh
No
wow.
idea what it was. It wasn't, we thought it could have been a cat, could have been something, but we didn't see any trace of any animals.
Interesting. Now residential. You guys everything have you guys ever came across anything that you guys can't handle?
Uh, Not yet. Um, we have a lot of experienced team members. Our team clairvoyant and her sister-in-law, who's also the one who makes the equipment, her and her husband,
Mm-hmm.
they have been doing this for 20, 30 years each. So they've been a valuable asset to the team. The clairvoyant's name's Tammy. She's part of the management as well as the team, so she helps me run it. And she's amazing at what she does, and we haven't run into anything that they can't handle or we can't handle.
Okay, but let's say for instance, you guys come across something that you can't handle. Are you guys prepared? Do you guys call? Can you guys call somebody that can come in and do what they need to do?
Yes, so we have procedures in place if we come across something, let's say dark or even demonic, which is very, very rare. As much as
Yes.
Hollywood likes to say it's a common thing, it's not. Um, but we do have procedures in place of how to identify it. And once we kind of get these identifiers, we kind of pause the investigation. And at that point, it shifts into a different kind of focus. The members that maybe aren't as tenured, we ask them to leave. The people that want to stay to try to be a little bit more aggressive and try to get this and document what's going on, they'll stay because we know if we have to document everything in order to get help in there. And
Hmm.
we do have people to call that are demonologists, that the church and all that if we need be.
How well have you ever had to make that phone call to a church before?
No, not yet.
Okay, well, all right. That when you do, man, I would like to be there because I would like to see what exactly how the church would react towards uh something like that. Each religion is a little bit different. Each religion handle things different also. But let's talk about something that everybody hates talking about. Hollywood. How you feel about Hollywood right now and the way they portray us?
I think it's. I mean, I like that it gives us some exposure. Kind of gives that interest for the new people or younger generations,
Hmm.
but they get interested for the wrong reasons. They think it's a thrill-seeking type of experiment, but it's not. So I try to when we bring on new members, I try to weed those out. Where in the interview process, we kind of gauge their interest level and see how devoted they're going to be. That's
Hmm.
also why when we bring a new member onto the team, we start them looking at the review, the tedious parts of it. If they can make it through that, that shows a level of devotion to the field.
Okay, good. I mean, so you guys don't let Hollywood taint any part of your paranormal team whatsoever.
No,
Yeah, man, because Hollywood, I think, is really, really just put a dark shadow on us. Especially for these individuals that don't want to go under somebody's wing and don't want to be trained properly, but want to go out and just do things the Hollywood way.
yeah,
And the Hollywood way, it's not the right way because you can get yourself hurt real easy.
yep. I mean,
You
we've
know,
gone in and we've had people where they call us in and goes, "Hey, we had this team in here, and they were just there for the thrills, and they made things 100 times worse for the clients." So we
hmm.
have to kind of go in and fix that. And it annoys us a bit, but I mean, it keeps us busy. So
There you go. How does what the town you live in?
So right now I recently just moved. I was in Taunton, Massachusetts. Now I'm just over the border in Rhode Island in Pawtucket, another historic area.
Okay, how does let's back up because you were in Massachusetts. How did they
Yep.
portray you? How did they react to you guys? How did you react with the community, and how did the community act with you?
So the community, they were receptive, especially in Taunton. Some of the surrounding areas reaching out for permissions to do some historic sites. Got some pushback on, which we always try to get permission, especially in these historic sites. But then, again, teams go in there and just do it without permission. And
Hmm.
it's the reason why they're not giving us permission because they're going in there and disrupting these sites and possibly damaging these sites. So there is some kind of pushback. Some of the communities up here are really, really good. We want to try to get more involved with the community going forward. It's a point that I've tried to focus or hammer down on. Um, just we haven't had too much success with it yet, but we're planning on changing that.
Now I do know the historical society. I've always talked about those people because as small as people think they are in the community, but they have a lot of power.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? They have a lot of yes and no, especially in some of these historic sites that you're talking about. Have you ever came across them?
Uh, Not really. They've been pretty shut off to us. One avenue that I've kept kind of close to my chest with, I want to try, which I will reveal here, I guess, is I want to try to partner with some realtors and
Hmm.
see if we can get in when people are trying to sell their homes or, before they sell their home, they want to know if something's going on, if they, stuff like that. Because we've done a few houses that the client was selling and they had us come in right before they cleared out. So I
Right.
think that could be a way to get us some more exposure as well, even into some of those older locations.
Now, one thing, because that's a good idea, what you just said, because, but down here in Texas, the laws are a little bit different. I don't know up there, they are required to, to disclose information about a certain house or location.
Yep.
But here in Texas, they don't have to. So if you got like 50 spirits or something's going on in a certain location and that person is trying to sell that, they don't have to say anything.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I think that's bad. I think that should be a law on that.
Yeah. I agree.
You know what I'm saying? Because you buy this location, man, and next thing you know, somebody's hitting you upside the head with a water balloon, and you're like, "What the hell is going on?" You know, you got something going on in your house.
Yep.
See, what is the first thing you're gonna do? Either you're a skeptic, and you go through this, or you can embrace it and say, "Hey, I possibly got a good venue here that I can turn into something."
Yeah.
But there's two ways that people can do it. They can sell it, or they can say, "Oh, okay, yeah, man, I can make $1 million with this." You know, but the one thing that I am so upset about between the two, the Northeast and Texas, is you guys, as a whole, the paranormal community from Maine all the way down to Florida, that whole East Coast corridor, you guys seem to embrace one another.
Yep.
You guys have Paracon after Paracon after Paracon after Paracon. And down here, and that's the way everybody should be. But down here in Texas, man, you might see a Paracon once every 6 months, every year. It's really there's none of that going on down here, and that what irritates me the most. And I'm like, man, where is the pair unity at when we can't have, you know, just can't get together like
Yeah.
you guys up in the Northeast, and
Yep.
it's kind of crazy.
Yeah, I mean, we've done a few Paracons. Unfortunately, we've had some, some not line up with our availabilities as we've had cases come up. Um, but we've done a lot of different things as well. Like during Halloween, I think it was maybe not last year, but the year before, we actually did a presentation up in a library up in New Hampshire with a couple other teams, which was pretty fun. It was exciting. A lot of kids came and kind of learned as well about the paranormal. We brought some of the equipment, passed that around, showed it off to kind of demonstrated how they work. We actually even went into, I had a student in a school in Rhode Island reach out and asked to have us come in and present on his behalf for a project in his sixth grade class. I'm like, you get the sign off from the principal and the teacher will come down and do it, and they let us in there and we presented to the class. So
Oh man, that's cool.
yeah, we do a lot of out of the box things. It's something that kind of caught me off guard was that request. I'm like, oh, kid wants us to come in and do a presentation. Well, that's different, but I'm always happy to kind of share that knowledge and again teach them the right way. I had a lot of questions about YouTube stuff and all that from the kids. It's like, well, some of that's not real. I'm not going to see, you can figure it out, but what I do, this is, I explained the differences, and it was really a good engagement for sure.
Okay. Now, are you willing if a couple of kids come up to David and say, David, I would like to be a junior team where we can actually get trained right for the future. Are you willing to take on that junior team?
We don't. Um, we've started to for like family members that are maybe junior members. They'll help out with review, but they won't go on any investigations. They'll go to the community engagement stuff like that and get the exposure and learn the back end of everything first.
Hmm.
Then once they get old enough, then they come onto the team. But
Okay.
I just don't want to put them at risk to something, especially because you never know what you're walking into with the paranormal.
Right. Yeah, you definitely because you might get one thing 1 minute and something totally different the next. You know. Now I know you do a lot of residential,
Yep.
like we were talking about. And are you willing to pay money to get in some of these high price locations? Or do you want to stick to what you guys do best?
We've considered going to some of these pay to investigate places. I think one that's been a hot topic is Randolph County Infirmary over in I think it's Indiana that we want to kind of maybe go out that way
Hmm.
because it's pretty. Um, it's a good value. We try to find the value in it for our team, but some of these other places that are costing 3-4 thousand, it's like that's ridiculous.
That's hella ridiculous, bro. You know, as you're driving to Indiana, and this is what gets me. All these, I don't know if you ever look on Facebook and you look on TikTok and you see all these people that come on and say, oh, this is the most haunted, this is the most haunted in this state, this is the most haunted in that state. Dude, I wish they would stop fucking doing that. I don't mean to cuss, but I wish they would stop freaking doing that.
Yeah,
Because how do you know this is the most haunted location in this state or that state? You
yeah,
know, you can drive, you can drive 5 miles past your house, and you can have the most haunted location in your state, and you would never know.
yeah,
You would
exactly.
never know.
Yep. I mean that kind of points to some research I was doing up here too. Um, in Taunton, Massachusetts, the center of the Bridgewater Triangle there, pretty much, pretty close to the center. There's a stretch of roadway that goes straight down, and I'd go out to eat at these bars with my family. And there was one day a cup falls off right in front of me, just smashes on the ground. I'm like, oh, does that happen often? They're like, yeah, it's what's his name? It's like Willie or something like that. It's like, oh, okay. And then I go to a place down the street, same thing happens down there. So I'm like, huh, I wonder if there's some correlation here to where there's some, entities here that are maybe down there as well. And
Mhm.
it's just, again, because, rivers, roadways, energy can travel. Um, so I wonder if I was trying to research that. And I think I ended up finding out there's 6 restaurants on that road within 3-4 miles of each other that all had similar activity.
Yeah, that's crazy. But I learned some. I was on a podcast last night, and I learned something very interesting because I didn't think that was possible. I did not think that trains can produce energy for certain spirits. It's weird how that happens. What do you think about that?
I just think anytime there's memories being created, that gets kind of imprinted into our plane. As I don't want to get into, the mystical side of things. Like I like to pride myself on being scientific, but I
Mhm.
think they do kind of imprint. We leave our imprint in this world, and I think wherever those memories are, because memories are powerful, they could be, if it's sad, you're going to get that imprint. If it's happy, that's a powerful imprint. Death obviously is a major imprint, especially with the sadness it creates. So I think those traumatic or even those joyous events can kind of leave their mark wherever, no matter what we're doing.
Wow. And because I was interviewing a team from a probably one, if not, I can say top 15 haunted location in the state of Texas. And I'm not going to say number one or number two, but it's they actually say when the train is go through their backyard, it actually the paranormal actually intensifies.
Yeah, I
Which
can
I can't understand how
I
that
can believe that.
happens.
You got to think too. A lot of some theories theorize that vibrations can cause energy and activity. So if a train goes by, you're creating this massive amount of vibrations. You have certain types of stones, whether it's quartz, anything like that, that can feed and kind of be a conduit underneath the ground that can kind of store and produce energy, which can feed into increased activity as well.
Yeah, that man. When I heard that last night, I'm like, I'm gonna have to do a research into that. I don't know how I'm gonna do it because, well, I got to figure this out to make sure this actually is, if this is really a valid thing that it can actually be done like that. You know, uh, okay, you're in the Northeast, man. I can bet you there are so many um, people who, man, just I know there's a lot of urban legends up there where people think they see these things. It go back from time from the beginning of time. Would you consider yourself investigating some of those urban legends up there?
I could see myself tracking them down. A couple of our team members kind of being interested in trying to track those down. I know I have one member of the team who again lives right in the that Bridgewater Triangle, and he's all into all that. So he's into like the Thunderbirds, Sasquatch sightings, all that fun stuff. So yeah, I could definitely see us trying to maybe go down that route or road.
One of the craziest things is uh, the witch trials.
Yes,
Now, never been up there. Don't talk about it much. Now, is Salem, is that the actual town where the Salem witch trials were actually took place at, or
I
was that another
believe
location?
I think it was another location not that far away. I think it's now Danvers is the town, but I think it was Salem Village. Um, if I remember correctly, there. Don't quote me or don't hold me to it. I'm not the most well
Mhm.
versed in that. But I believe it was a village just outside of it, which is now the town of Danvers or something like that.
Wow. Have you guys been there? Would you consider investigating that village?
Um, I know we've had members go there, and especially our clairvoyants and psychics, they've been there. It's a place that we would definitely try to go out and investigate some locations out that way. Just as soon as we get some permission to do so.
Interesting. Now, is that privately owned, or is it just a village?
So I think most of it is torn down and built over.
Oh wow.
Um, so there's some privately owned locations, buildings that way. So you'd have to get some permission to go into those.
Now you guys are in the Bible Belt. Are you guys? I think you guys are into that. I think the Bible Belt goes all the way up to Maine, if I'm right. Uh, churches. The one thing I know about churches is each religion is a little bit different. Each religion is a little bit more open to it. Some religions are a little, more closed to it. What do you think about religion and the paranormal?
I think it's vital. It's vital. Some of our team site geeks, they're well versed in that. They're very religious, and use a lot of. We do our cleansings. It's based on that, based on their beliefs. Me, I'm more open. I'm not kind of. I don't want to kind of say I'm one religion or another. I kind of look at everything as a whole and say, oh, well, that makes sense. And I kind of pick from every religion. I'm kind of open to everything because, again, I'm very scientific. I'm very open to different explanations and seeing how they affect the outcomes of things.
Okay. Now, what is the main religion up there?
Whew, it's a wide variety up here. I couldn't even say. There's a very, very healthy
Uh,
mix.
Texas, I can say, man, Southern Baptist, East Texas is Southern Baptist, man.
Yeah.
And I can honestly tell you, bro, there is a church on every corner in East Texas.
Oh, yeah.
I counted, going because we did an investigation in Jasper, and we actually went by and visited the James Byrd uh, cemetery. We spent a couple of minutes talking to him, but I did notice, man, there's a church there, there's a church there, there's a church there, and on the way out of Jasper, dude, churches was like 5 minutes apart from each other. I mean, church after church after church after church.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my god, dude, how do all these people do this? I mean, because you can leave one church and walk down the street and join another. I mean, it's kind of
Yeah.
crazy. You know what I'm saying? But it's weird. Let's focus on the Catholic Church for a minute.
Yep.
Uh, have you dealt with any of them members? Anybody?
We have some members. Sorry. We have some members that are part of the Catholic Church, I believe, on the team. So they are kind of open, and we have some communication and open communication. But again, they seem a little bit more reserved about the paranormal, I'd say, up here. Um, so it has its challenges.
Yeah, it's kind of weird how the Catholic Church was so open to certain things. Starting back way before the 14th century, 15th century. Whenever the Catholic Church would think, well, they'll get a call or whatever, however they do it, or something explained, they'll send somebody out to investigate it. And, they'll say, come back with, some answers. But it seems like just over a couple hundred years from that, everything's went quiet.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely get that sense as well. It's kind of gone a little quiet, a little bit dark on that front. I just think maybe Hollywood has a part in that too, because I'm sure all these shows and movies come out and it just kind of dilutes the calls going to them saying, "Oh, my house has a demon in it," because most people, if they have something unknown, they're gonna go to the most scariest thing. They're gonna say, "Oh, it's a demon," and they're gonna call the church right away. So
Now,
I think that probably played a role in that.
why do you think Hollywood is focused on that word specifically?
Yeah, it gets people in the seats of the theaters. You think scary horror, demons. It's a staple of it.
But they do know demons are a rarity. But people still and Hollywood still focus on that. It's weird because you can ask any paranormal investigator, you can ask 1,000 paranormal investigators, and they will tell you that one word. No, I've never came across a demon. And you know what? The number will probably go up. It'll keep going. You might have that one incident, that one, but then again, is it really a demon or is it just a spirit who's angry over a certain situation?
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So, I've always been a skeptic of Hollywood. I quit watching all the, you know, the ghost hunters and certain things, certain shows. I just quit watching them all the way. Now, you might can agree or disagree with me, but some of the best amateur paranormal investigators are on YouTube. And and they're not out trying to make a buck,
Nope.
and they're just out there, doing what we do and just happen to catch something and to show it.
Yeah.
You know, hell, I look at Nuke's top five all the time, and it's some of the best amateur videos, man, that's on the planet. And these guys don't even know that what they're catching at the time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's crazy how Hollywood can just, man, try to break it down, and they're really not doing a good job.
No,
They're
I'd
they're,
agree they're not.
they're really not, man. And and all these scary movies that are coming out, how many scary movies that came out last year? I can tell at least five,
Yep.
maybe more,
Probably more.
that went under budget because nobody is going in there to watch that crap.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Nobody. I mean, I think they redid Amityville. I think they redid what is the kid that was in the bed? Oh, what's the name of that damn movie?
The Omen.
No, not the Omen.
I think they redid that one too.
Yeah, I think they did, and I think they redid. What is the one with the lady? It's a '70s classic where the mom daughter upstairs, and she was possessed by the devil, and
Oh,
the preacher came in.
uh, The Exorcist.
The Exorcist.
I actually just watched that remake. I was not a fan of it.
What did you think about it?
I think it was too over the top and unrealistic, especially near the ending. I mean, there were parts of it I'm like, okay, that's cool. I like what Hollywood did there, but then it's like they went way off track, and I think it just ruined it for me.
Yeah, it was, and you know what? And I'm the type of guy that doesn't like remakes. So if somebody remakes a movie, a horror movie, I would not watch it. Like Amityville. Now, the thing about Amityville is the history of it. Did it really happen? Uh, you know, and if it happened, was it just somebody who was just sick of their whole life situation and just committed a mass suicide? The devil
Yep.
probably didn't have anything to do with it. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's the way Hollywood tries to, you know, jump into a certain someone's uh man situation, which is horrible, and try to make money from it.
Yep.
But the only way we can actually figure out if Amityville really happened is go talk to the actual people that went through it, the actually family, which I don't think they're up to talking about
No, I don't think so. I think Hollywood kind of ruined that too.
it. Yeah, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Oh
Yep.
my god, dude. Totally ruined it.
Yeah.
How many Leatherface movies have you seen?
Shh. Quite a few.
Quite a few. And people say that the house, as big as that house was, how do you up and move a house that big? It says it would move. It moved from what's that little town? It was a little town just north of here, and they ended up moving to a little town just east of here. Dude, do you know how much manpower it will take to move a house that freaking big?
Yeah.
It just don't happen. Yeah, Carrie. I mean, Carrie, another movie. They're gonna remake. They're
That's
gonna
another
remake,
classic.
and check it out. It's supposed to be now, from what I hear, it's supposed to be a Mustang.
Huh.
It's supposed to be a Mustang. I mean, no, man. Why are you gonna mess up the whole damn? And I guarantee you, they'll put a lot of money into it, and it won't. The box, it won't hit the box numbers. Then somebody
No.
the money.
No.
That's just the way it is. But when it comes to paranormal investigating, David,
Yep.
how do you treat a kid spirit if you come across one?
So we try to, interact as best we can. We bring toys into every investigation. We've developed some of our equipment that is based around toys, which are interactive. They'll light up. They'll make sounds. Um, they'll kind of like the Boo Bears in a way that people get, but we've made our own variants of that type of technology um, to be more unique to us in the area. So we try to interact that way and try to kind of be more playful, I'd say. We never antagonize or provoke. It's kind of against what we do. I tell all the new members, if you're going to come in here and provoke, then you're not going to be on the investigation
There
because that
you go.
potential to make things worse for the client is higher and also puts us at risk too. And safety is the number one priority.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about technology.
Yep.
Now, technology, as far as paranormal investigating and investigators, would you say that the technology has advanced a little bit or a lot since the
Um,
70s?
I'd say it's come a long way. So, like, a lot of the technology now, I think you have different frequencies you can tap into, different types of energy you can tap into. The amount of just the quality of the video, pictures, audio you can get now, it's super hypersensitive. I think it's great. I mean, a lot of people I know, the veterans, they'll stick to their trusty older equipment, which I don't blame them. That stuff's just as valid, works just as well. But I think with new technology, you have new opportunity to come across something that maybe couldn't be or captured with the older stuff.
Okay. Now, since technology has advanced a lot, the question that I have for you is why isn't we hasn't why come we have not been able to evolve ourselves into you know to actually catch that evidence that we really need to catch? Why is with all this new technology, why come we weren't able to do that?
Um, I think it comes down to um, just intelligent spirits for the most part, or intelligent entities. A lot of them know what we're gonna do, even if it's new technology. The basis was still kind of there. You still have to press on off switches. You still have to aim and point. They know what a lens is. They know what the things are. They're very very smart, and I think they're adapting to the times as it goes. Where yes, we have the residual, which I think we have a higher probability of capturing because it's not as adaptive. Um, but I just think it's still maybe the technology still has to come little bit further. I'm not sure how much further we can get, but I'm always excited. Technology is something I actually am passionate about and love in the field.
Because it's weird because the minute we think that we're because that paranormal book is it's being written right now as we talk. It's forever. I don't know who it is. It's forever. They just writing. So every time you think that we able to turn that page, and actually be able to catch up with what's going on up there, these guys are, 2 pages ahead of us. So we will never catch up with these guys. Even with all the technology that are out there, we are always 2 pages behind.
Yeah, I yeah. I mean, we always seem a step behind for sure. I mean, maybe one day we'll catch it, but only time will tell with that.
Yeah, man, because I, man, I've talked to so many paranormal investigators, and they, so many different theories and so many different points of views on why we're not able to catch up, and me personally, I just think that's just the way it is. We're never going to catch up. The day we catch up is the day that we are no longer on this planet. Because at that point, everything's everything is, once you leave the planet and once you pass on, hey man, everything's an open book to you now. You're able to see everything that you wanted to see, everything you wanted to know as a paranormal investigator. You're able to see, you're able to visualize. It's like, oh, okay, now that's why we're not able to do that. That's not why we're able to do this. But then it's too late.
Yeah,
It's too late. And another question that I have for you is, why do so many paranormal investigators spit the same game night after night, day after day, week after week at a certain location? Well, people. One thing I know people have to realize is, just because these guys don't have a physical form, they still people. They still
yeah,
act. They can still cuss you out. They can still tell you yes or no. They can tell you whatever the hell they want to tell you. So the question I have for you, David, is why are people still using the same techniques at these locations where 1,000 boots have already been on the floor? People, I'm telling you now, man, if I was a spirit and if you came to me with that cat ball and you're going to ask me, what is the one question you're going to ask me? Hey, can you activate that cat ball? But dude, didn't you just ask me that shit?
can
Uh,
you? Yeah, another one.
yesterday?
Can you make yourself known? That's another very,
Yeah,
very common one.
dude, I would you know what? I will walk the other way and will not think twice of answering any of your questions if you come to me with that same BS.
Yep.
You got to, like you, David. If you guys are producing new equipment that these guys aren't seeing, hey man, put that stuff out there, hey, and do what you need to do, because people out there today are pretty much saying the same old thing, doing the same old, saying the same old, and it's making spirits not want to deal with you.
Yeah. Um, I wish I could talk about some of the equipment we have works, but it's confidential. We have some really,
I understand that.
we have some cutting edge that isn't even out there yet from in general that we are working on developing that we'll be testing hopefully this year.
I understand that. Me myself. I mean, I'm the type of guy. Uh, what century are we in? 21st.
Yep.
We're in the 21st century. But as me, as a paranormal investigator, you have to, and you the same way. We got to get this 22nd century technology. That's the only way we're going to be able to, get ahead.
Yep.
People get mad at me, especially most of my team members, is because I quit using the cameras. I mean, I don't care how big your camera is. It can be the biggest camera in the world that gives you 4K, give you this, infrared, that, and this. it all depends. For you to get that evidence, it all depends on your body motion.
Yep.
Body motion says it all. Because if I got this camera on me, and I'm doing this, and I'm recording, and I hear that one knock, my body is going to react. My head is going to move first because that's what my head is used to doing. When you hear
Yeah.
something, you see something, you can't explain. What is the first thing that's going to move? It's not going to be your camera. It's going to be your head.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you have to get something out. There's got to be something out there that you can catch. You hear something, you got to be able to move just that quick.
I agree.
You got to be moved because our body is not set up to where it reacts to a certain thing. Our head first, then the camera.
Yep.
That's just the way it works. So how can we? Because all it takes is 1 second, that one knock, or that one. If you think you saw something, it goes so fast. So you got to be able to catch that evidence in a split second. A
Yep.
GoPro's not going to do it because
Nope.
in order for a GoPro to work, you got to be able to turn your torso because it sits here or it
Yep.
sits up here.
Yep. I
You know,
mean, we've started to utilize action cameras as well, but like I said, we have stationary DVRs that capture most of the locations we're at. For the bigger locations, we'll use two DVR setups and put, I don't know, close to 30 cameras on the ground.
where you at? Where you at? I got a bunch of junk in here. Now, this is what I use. You know, and people might think it's kind of crazy, but you know what? I don't see too many paranormal investigators using these.
Those are cool. That's something we want to get.
Yeah, they're using these. And I would urge everybody to use them because you're able to catch that certain, that quick second evidence, that knock on the wall or whatever that you're trying to get. And they work. No, my lens fell off, but they work, and I can just. I actually I wear glasses, so I'm actually to fit these with these, so my vision won't be that bad. So all you gotta do, you're good to go.
Yep.
4K, 1080p, uh, everything you need. And when you hear that bump in the night, you turn your head, you ain't losing nothing.
Nope.
That's the way it should go. But a lot of people don't use these. I don't know why. But it's I think they work pretty well with me. I've yet to have any problems with it. The battery runs just as long as uh, your camera. What, your camera on a good day can last you, what, 2.5, 3 hours maybe?
Ours are wired, so we can go as long as we want.
Yeah.
So we typically we're on site for 6 to 8 hours for a normal residential investigation. Sometimes we push 12. Um, but like I tell all the new members when they come on, it's like if we use all 30 cameras, we got to watch 30 times 8. And
Woo!
it's a lot of turnaround time
Yeah,
on
it
that.
is. That's another thing. People don't realize just how long this is. You
Yeah.
know, it's not all about going on an investigation. That's the easy part, going out and investigating. The hard part is going through all the audio and video, and getting that. And the fun part is getting that. Woo! Did you just see that?
Yep.
Or that surprise look on you get on your face when you see something. So you constantly going over and over. Hey, did that really happen? Did that really happen? You know. but it's fun. But it's just a lot of hard work involved
It
in it.
is. And when you're going through 30 hours, or 30 cameras at 8 hours a piece, leaves a lot of chances to miss something. You start getting tired watching the video. The split second like that, you miss it. And
Yeah.
like I said, we missed our best piece of evidence, and then when we had a new person go through and rewatch it, they're the ones who saw it. So it happens. So
Mm,
we never delete any of our files. We always have them. I think I have a 10 terabyte hard drive external storing all of them with disk copies as well. So
oh wow,
yeah,
man. Are you one of the lucky ones that go through all the 8 hours, 16 hours of audio and video? Or do you guys have somebody,
I get to do
specifically?
double the work. So we have a kind of a structure. Everyone reviews. Even if you're not on the investigation, you still review it. Part of the team, you review it. Um, we don't want you going back and rewatching certain parts. Just if you see something different or interesting, mark it down, keep going. Once you get through that, it goes to a select few. I'm one of the select few where we go through and look at the notes and analyze that and break it down more. So that's why I get to kind of do double the work. I have my review assignments and then plus the final review. And then I get to type up the 10, 20-page report for the clients.
Okay. Now, let me ask you a question. What does your family think about what you do?
Um, it's interesting. They're supportive of it. Growing up, I had a house that was extremely haunted. It's what got me into the paranormal. So my family, they're pretty supportive of it. My fiance took a minute to kind of get her on board with it after I met her. That's not something I tell people right away. Is hey, I'm a paranormal investigator or I'm a ghost hunter. It's not something I'll
Right.
say right off the bat. I don't even say it really at work. My manager just found out when she called because my voicemail says, the founder of ECCPI. She calls me in the office and goes, "You didn't tell me you were a paranormal investigator." I'm like, "Oh boy, here we go."
Oh, well.
She goes, "I would have hired you on the spot." I'm
Well,
like,
that's
"Oh,"
cool.
I'm like, "Well, that's nice to know."
Yeah, right. Well, think about me. I drive a van, and I got all my information on the back of my van. I drive down the street, and I got people flagging me down. Hell, I'm thinking somebody think I'm thinking, well, hell, man, what the hell did I got flat tire or something? What the hell's going on? Oh, yo, hey, how you doing? I'm like, oh, what the hell, dude? You
Yep.
scared the hell out of me just trying to get my attention. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, hey, you guys got anything over here? You got, this and that. Where do I find you at? Send me your information. We love to hang out with you sometimes. And what's so crazy about it? Nobody really calls
No.
because nobody really the what if. People are always afraid of the what if.
Yep.
And, I'm like, dude, okay. You flagged me down. You chased me down 30 miles just to say hello, and but I did have one guy that flagged me down. It's like, hey man, I need your help. My house is haunted.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay. Then we went out there and got some good validation and and we helped the people out. And from what I heard, it stirred back up again.
Oh wow.
Yeah, but the craziest thing is whoever's in his house is all family members.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So there's not much you can do about family members. I mean, you can send them into the,
Yeah.
whatever. But the thing is, do you want your family members? I mean, they're there for you.
I mean, some of them I might not be like opposed to it, but no, I'm just kidding.
But it's really hard when you got a situation like that. When you got, you're dealing with family members and, and you want, it depends on what the homeowner wants. It's like,
Yeah.
because he told me, it's like, well, if it's my granddad, I really have a special place to my granddad. So if it's him, we found out it was him and a
Yep.
couple more. But the craziest thing, dude, his granddad has this El Camino in the front yard.
Huh.
And I asked the granddad, it's like, hey, when you're not here. Are you hanging out in the El Camino as a place to just to get away? And sure enough, we heard a yes
Yep.
because he loved that car.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So hey, that's a place where people, spirits always have a place where they can go back to,
Yep.
you know, man cave,
It
car,
goes back to that the imprint, happy memories.
yeah, and so on and so on. But it's kind of crazy, and people think what we do is we do it for fun. But me myself, David, I'm doing it to prepare myself for what's coming.
Yep. I mean, we all have different reasons. I do it so, like I said, growing up, a very haunted location. I think that could have been potentially demonic, but I don't know because I was young. I was stupid. There was some times when crosses were thrown off the wall, which makes me tend to think it was probably demonic. Looking back on it now, knowing what I know, but I never want people to feel helpless or hopeless.
Hmm.
So I put a lot of pride in. I take a lot of cases where other teams have turned away. I've had back to going to the Hollywood aspect, but there was a client up here that reached out to one of the TV shows for help, and I forget. I'm not going to say who it was. Got a direct message from them and said and told the client, "You are crazy. You need mental help or something like that." Along the line, she showed me the messages. Um, I ended up taking that case right after that. Even though I strongly felt that there was nothing paranormal, I went in, we did an investigation. First thing I asked during the walkthrough was, "Do you get a lot of headaches?" "Yeah, how'd you know that?" "Well, your EMF is spiking at 75 milligauss right now across the house. Like,
Hmm.
there's an electrical problem here."
Right.
I'm like, "But we'll still come in and be thorough and do an investigation for you." And we ended up coming up with a plan to help reduce the EMF with these things called Stetzerizers you plug into the wall. It reduces the EMF in the house for old wiring. Um, and they had a small child that was getting scratches, which she thought was an entity, ended up being a reaction to the high EMF. As you're ultra sensitive, you can develop scratches, you can develop different things. So I kind of felt good. That's kind of when my dad kind of made his turnaround too. He was like not as receptive of me being into the paranormal
Hmm.
until I went and helped his family. And he goes, "What you do matters." I'm like, "Yeah, it is. It does."
Yeah, it matters a lot. Uh, would you say? Can you give me a number on a percentage on the difference between somebody who's mental and actual paranormal? My number is might be a little bit different because uh, I ran across a case where it was actually more mental than paranormal. I would have to say when somebody's having something going on in their house, it's 80% mental, 20% paranormal,
Yep.
especially when there are meds involved, medication, doctors, a certain person, the way that, they feel, they act, they livelihoods, all that is mental. So life itself can take a mental hold on you. And not only that, it could make your mind start seeing things, and once your mind starts seeing things, everything else is just going to flicker in
Yep.
because your mind is the brain center of everything that your body does. So when you think you see that cat, and you do a double take, and what is the first thing you say? Oh, that's deja vu.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So, uh, what's your number on something like that?
I'd say it's close to that. I'd say between 60 and 75% to what we're seeing. We've had a few cases where it was all mental, and but it's also a little bit of psychic ability in a way,
Mhm.
where they have all these problems, but they also have a psychic ability they don't know about. We had one case where the woman became a conduit and was anytime she'd be stressed out, activity would ramp up and she wouldn't even realize it. We went back to this location 3 times. And we tried working, we did work with her a little bit and try to help her harness that, but she was always called crazy. So, but I think that a lot of it is mental, especially unfortunately in the day and age we live in now too. The Taunton area, there's a lot of drug activity, which I think that can cause a lot of problems, a lot of even if you use it, you're not a daily user, but you use it, your mental state gets altered and you can start
Mm-hmm.
hallucinating regardless.
Yep.
So,
And you know what's really crazy about uh, our our now the time now is all these pharmaceuticals
yes.
that are prescribing these drugs to people, and they might tell you it might be one thing in this particular drug, but they're not going to tell you, the other 10% that's in this drug might cause some kind of make you see things,
Yep.
you know, and it's weird because I think the pharmaceuticals should be a little bit more open in that and telling
Yeah.
people in these things, because it definitely can put it definitely can make you do things you don't want to do, say things you don't want to say, and and it's yeah, it's kind of crazy, but it's $1 billion a year money
Exactly.
money thing. So they're not going to tell you. They're just going to
Nope.
say, this and that.
They'll show that little commercial with the very fast talking of all the side effects that you may experience that you can't
Mhm.
keep up with. Um, yeah.
So
So,
it's crazy, and not just me personally. With all these pharmaceuticals making all these pills, I'm really surprised that uh, you know people with paranormal situations in their house hasn't jumped up.
yeah.
I'm surprised the spike. I'm surprised there really hasn't a big spike, on what's going on around here just because of this.
I think we're doing some research up here, kind of along the lines of that, and seeing if there's a correlation between prescription drug usage, recreational drug usage up here, and the activity being reported. And we're seeing there is a spike in activity being reported, not necessarily investigated, but a lot of people are making claims of activity as drug usage goes up. And up here, they've legalized marijuana, they've legalized that. So, I mean, it's something I'm watching closely to see. It's also in our intake. We ask, anyone use, marijuana, they use drugs or pharmaceuticals, anything like that, just so we have an open mind when we go into it. Um, so
Yeah, because you because when you go into a house, you're a skeptic because you really don't know. I mean, you got that phone call, but if until you get that hands-on you know situation into the house and figure out for yourself, you're a skeptic. And you know
yep,
what, and besides this, when you have that phone call, a lot of people's not going to tell you that they're on drugs, they're on some kind of hard medication. They just want to get you in there to help, for you to help them out.
yep,
And I came across a case like that, where a man was like, hey, uh, I got, don't laugh because this is actually a true story. I got, cockroaches drinking my milk and smoking up my cigarettes. Can you come over and help me out with this? And I'm like, yeah, like,
yeah,
you playing with me, man. But you know what? I had to take everything serious at that
yeah.
point. We went over there and investigated. We set up a camera overnight for a couple days, but we went back and checked it out. And we come to find out he was a sleepwalker.
Oh wow.
So he was actually, now I don't know where the roaches came from and how big they got, but he was a sleepwalker, and it really could have turned left really bad because he was smoking cigarettes while he was asleep,
Oh wow.
and he was drinking his own milk while he was asleep.
Huh.
But cigarettes, and he did it so carefully. He actually put it out like he was awake, but he was asleep.
Yep.
And I'm like, oh my God, dude. I'm sitting here watching this video, and I'm like, this guy, this could have went left quick, bro. If he would have just one mistake, take that one butt and just let it fall on the floor. Carpet, boosh, everything would have went crazy.
Yep.
So we were able to help this guy out. And, we talk on a regular basis, and we actually built that bond because of something that, we were able to help him out with.
Yeah.
And, he needs to stay on his meds, make sure everything's all right. And he needs to start exercising. Quit sitting up in that recliner because he slept in the recliner. I'm like, no, you need to get up and start exercising, bro. This is what I need for you to do. And I think he bought one of those Pelotons. I don't know. Man, who buys Pelotons when you can just get up and just
Yeah.
He's one of those guys that got more money than he ever needs, but lives in an apartment.
Hey, good way to save money.
Yeah, good way to make somebody else rich too.
That too.
All right, Dave. Hey, man, we've been on the show an hour and 16 minutes, and time flies when we're having fun. Hey, before I get you out of here, man, because I know you need to go take a shot of whiskey, and I know you got work tomorrow and all that stuff. Hey, man, quick question for you.
Yes.
Bucket list. Do you have one?
I do.
All right. So you already know where I'm coming with this at. Where would you like to go, man? Anywhere in the world to investigate?
There is a top 3 I have that's all kind of closely tied. Alcatraz. I visited it during the day. I want to go back and investigate it one day, which is very tough to do. Waverly Hills is on my bucket list. And then I want to go to the castles in Scotland, which is where my ancestors are from.
Okay.
So good variety there.
Good variety. You get to go across the pond and go hang out with the ancestors.
Yep.
But the question I have for you is why Alcatraz? There's so many more creepy places, penitentiaries, right in your neck of the woods.
There are, but there's a lot of those legends of the two that escaped from Alcatraz. I wonder if they didn't fully escape. You can get to the bottom of that, or maybe get some answers on that. You never know.
Yeah, you never know. Now, do you think Alcatraz is one of those places where there's been a lot of paranormal investigators?
I think there's been a handful. I don't know if there's been a lot. Because I think it is owned by the state recreation department now. When I was out there, I think that's who I got the contact information from.
Interesting. Okay. All right. Would you consider yourself going to Bobby Mackey's, man? It's just right down the street from you.
I'd consider that. Definitely.
Now, I hear they're remodeling the place to make it. I don't know why they're remodeling the place because everybody knows what happens when you remodel something that has paranormal in it. You're just going to amp everything up.
Yep. I mean, that's what happened here. I just bought this house. We moved to Rhode Island, and we had to do some remodeling. And there's been some activity here that I haven't been able to investigate yet. But that's on the agenda.
Well, yeah, if you need some help, call me.
You got it.
I don't mind making a road trip now. I don't know how long it's going to take us to get there. Because, I got to stop and pee every 2 hours. All right. Hey, man, tell the world how to get a hold of ECCPI.
Best way to get a hold of us is on our Facebook, East Coast Coalition of Paranormal Investigators, or facebook.com/ECCPI. We are trying to expand on our social media footprint. We just have to get the right person who's in touch with that. Not all of us are in touch with that aspect of it. So if that's something you want to help out with, contact us too and see if you can help us out with that.
Oh man, yes, because I do know, man, trying because there are so many social media networks out there, that are doing, you can connect with, you can live stream with when you're in
Yep.
your investigations. Man, but
Yep. I've utilized Twitch a couple times because I stream video games on Twitch, but there's been a couple times where I've streamed on Twitch from my cell phone during an investigation.
yes, but Twitch, there's a lot of people leaving Twitch.
Yep.
They are going to Kick.
Huh. I haven't heard that yet.
Yes, apparently there's a lawsuit going on with a couple of the people that was on Twitch. Twitch is not paying these people, so
Huh.
that's why they're going to Kick. If you ever go into Kick, you'll see more gamers on Kick than you see on Twitch.
Huh. It's good to know.
And you'll see a lot of paranormal investigators on both social media, both of those. But Instagram has allowed you now to podcast and
Yep.
stream live now, which I don't. It's about damn time,
Yeah.
And Twitter, I just got back with Twitter or X now. It's not Twitter
X. Yeah.
anymore, it's X. You're actually able to stream live on that. So there's a lot of social media outlets out there that uh yeah, you can actually get into and and get your name out, get your product out. If you guys have merchandise, you're able to go and do all that stuff, and
Yep.
but yeah, and Rumble, are you guys on Rumble?
No, we are not. That's something we have to look into too.
Rumble is another version of YouTube,
Okay.
which is a little bit more lenient. You be able to do and say some things. Hey, I'll tell you what, man. If I take off my glasses on YouTube, hell, I might get flagged for that. But on Rumble, it's a little bit lenient, and you can actually do some things or say some things, and you won't get red flagged for it.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So all these social media outlets, dude, yeah. Yeah, I mean it'll be good. The only thing is with StreamYard is I'm only allowed to live stream on 8 social media networks. So I will have to choose the ones that I am, that I'm actually got numbers with, like
Yeah.
Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, and all that. But yeah, man, there's so much out there.
Huh.
So.
Def-
All right, man. Well, you know what? It has been a pleasure talking to you. I wish I would have able to get your buddy on here to talk about all the little.
oh, I know. Like I said, everyone's been sick. I know. Thank you for dealing with my coughing.
Oh,
Um,
you're good, bro.
so I wish I could have been a little more healthier today, but can't. It's the cold up here. It's northeast. It's the winter. Can't
Yep.
do anything about it.
But you know what? Hey, man, for you to come on and do what you did, and we had an excellent conversation. I really appreciate that, man.
Of course.
Feel free to share the podcast with on your social media.
Yep.
Hell, let's keep in touch, man. Hell, I would love next time to have the whole team on the show.
Yeah. I mean,
You
I'll
know,
once I'm off of here, I'll send you the YouTube link to that evidence I was talking about, our crown jewel.
okay, cool. That would be
So you can
interesting.
take a look at that.
Okay, but let's do it again.
Of course.
And you need to go take that shot of whiskey.
Yes, I do.
And, and you have yourself a good night, brother. And let's do this again. And I'm looking forward towards that video you're gonna send me.
Of course.
All right, guys. Hey, this is Terry with NSPS TV. podcast, Sunday evening edition. Man, it's been a great show. Appreciate David coming on, talking to me a little bit. Hey, make sure you guys go to his Facebook page, hit that like, share, subscribe button, get his numbers up. Hey, and also get my numbers up. Hey, if you can give me that HBO special, I appreciate it, man. Help a brother out. You know what I'm saying? They give me that HBO special. But in the meantime, hey, I gotta go cook dinner, and Dave's gotta go sip on some whiskey. So I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Peace. All right, Dave, you have yourself a good one, bro.
You too. Thank you.
All right, have a good one.